Twitter may be blowing up, and so may Matthew Tkachuk, but the Stars are not. Welcome to Starcastic Remarks. My name is Ryan Chambers, alongside my brother Christian here tonight. I have returned. I missed last night. Thank you, Chris, for holding down the fort for me. Please go and use the promo code THPN the next time you go and use the DraftKings app for a special little goodie from them. And Stars win by a final score of 6-4 tonight. I guess the best you can say of tonight's game, Chris, is they got the 2 points and some soldiers fell tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a lot of goals. 10 goals. I mean, we said it last night and Tuesday night. We're like, well, next game is probably going to be about 9 goals too. Well, we beat it by 1. So,
ultimately, Chris, what is your biggest takeaways out of tonight's game? Because unfortunately, there's quite a few for me, at least.
Yeah, the big thing for me is that the Stars played one good period. So the first period was very good, and not even that, they played a good last 15 minutes of the first period, because the first 5 minutes they didn't have a shot, and they scored the first shot of the game, and they were off to the races in the first period. But other than that, the second period, not good, I don't think, in my opinion. The third period was really bad. Obviously, we were on our heels the whole time, but with the style of play that we play now, we can have one good period and we can win that way, which was not at all a possibility with the previous defensive system. So interesting to see how one good period is enough now.
I'm kind of confused because I can't tell if we played a bad game, if we just played the way we did after Wedgwood got hurt, and that's why we played the way we did, or whether this was a good game, or whether it was all three packed into one. I just can't put my finger on it tonight.
Yeah, so I would say it was a bad game overall, and we still scored 6 goals. So that's a positive thing, in my opinion.
I think I would say it more positively. I think I would say we didn't play our best, but we still got the win, and we still got the 2 points out of tonight. So yep, I think we're both right. I just think of it, try to think of it a little bit more positively. So obviously the biggest news coming into tonight's game was the fact that Marchment, his return to to Florida, and Hanley is actually in tonight, and Colin Miller is out, which was a bit surprising. Not completely surprising, but if I had to give it like a percentage, I was like 75% surprised that he was out and Hanley was in, and all the D pairs were completely scrambled up. And what do you think about all of those storylines coming into the game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Marchment, obviously, he's taking a big step forward in his career. He did with Pay. He said he was going to answer up to it in the preseason. Obviously done that so far this year. He gets, I think, just 1 point tonight on the assist on the Sagan goal, but he was very good all over the ice. Obviously, in the end of the game, he was a big deal, but he did very well in his return to Florida, I think. The Hanley thing was interesting to me. He definitely needed to come in at some point. We know that. And I heard a lot of talk before the game about how the road trip has really been taking a toll on these guys. You think about it, we had one home game before this East Coast swing after the Canadian swing. So when you come home to Dallas, you're home for a night. So it was like whole Canadian trip, come back to Dallas is kind of like you're visiting because you weren't there for very long, all the way back out to the East Coast. So the Stars have been moving around a lot. Good to get some fresh legs out there. And I think Hanley did very well. As for Miller, he was obviously not great in the Lightning game. His time on ice was very limited. So it kind of made sense to me that he was the odd man out there.
I really didn't think he played all that bad, to be completely honest with you, on Tuesday. I mean, I'm not saying he played like, oh my goodness, fantastic, but he had some bad plays. He had some good plays. He was okay. So I was just a little surprised that they went in and took him out.
It wasn't bad enough for me to notice either, but like when you see his ice time and it's vastly under what he normally is, there was something going on.
So let's just get right into the review of my notes over here. It was all Florida for the first 5 minutes. It seemed like they were the only ones getting the shots, and there was a Miro hooking call. It was the first Dallas penalty kill. Even Razor said it. He quotes. I put quote bad call. Razor.
It was a terrible call.
It was a terrible
he held
call.
His stick.
Yeah, he pretty much did. Lundell would have a chance basically point blank, and then immediately after the Stars killed the penalty, Sagan to Hintz. Hintz scores it. Beautiful shot right over the shoulder of Mr. Bobrovsky, who would end tonight's game with a really bad save percentage. but the Stars are up 1-0 really early on. What do you think of the goal?
Cookie jar, sweet. That's what Robe Hintz does. I mean, when he gets those chances, he's a finisher.
By the way, happy birthday to Robe Hintz. So he gets his goal, and he has his birthday today. So
he gets 2 goals.
He gets 2 goals. Yeah, we're getting there. And on top of that, he gets to keep his point streak going on. He's up to 10 games, along with Mr. Robo on the season here. So Dallas would go on the penalty kill again. Dellandrea would take a tripping penalty. They'd kill that off. And at this point, we're halfway through the period. Shots are 8-1 Florida. So even though the Stars are winning 1-0, the one shot they took, it went in the net. And to be totally honest, Chris, I was a little worried in the first half part of the first period just because of the way the Stars were playing the first 5 minutes. Although I think that goal by Hintz kind of like, I don't know, it was like a jolt. I don't know what did you think?
I honestly wasn't too worried because we were on the penalty kill for 4 of those first 10 minutes. And beyond that, we had some good chances that also just didn't hit the net too. You think about the shorthanded chances too. So I wasn't too worried about it. We needed to get something going, and obviously, with the stuff we're going to say next, we did.
So going straight into that, perfect segue. 3 goals by the Stars in the last 5 minutes of the period. First, it's Lundqvist with a really great shot. I mean, that shows you right there that he's got the talent that the Rangers knew he had. They just had no room for him on the blue line. Ben with a breakaway. What a dirty dangle there. He scores, and he's been on a fire streak lately. I'm not even calling it a hot streak. It's a fire streak. He's been really good. And then the last 8 seconds of the period, Seguin would score 5-hole from a Marchment pass. So Marchment gets retribution for the Florida Panthers letting him go. And at the end of the first period, it was 4-0. And I wrote, well, was Dallas good, or did Florida really suck that bad? Or maybe it was a mix of both. What did you think of any of those 3 goals, first off? And what did you think overall of the first period, Christian?
The one I really want to talk about is that Lundqvist goal, because that looks like what he can turn into is what that goal showed me. Just the dangle on the blue line all the way through the offensive zone. Looks like he's going backhand the whole time. Fools him. Cookie jar into the top. I mean, that was nuts. That was an elite goal by Nils Lundqvist there. And it's only his first of the season too, which is crazy. That might blow the top off the bottle, and he might start pouring in some more goals for us. That would be really interesting. Overall, yeah, the Panthers defense was not good, but credit to the Stars.
That's an understatement. That's an understatement in that period. I mean, you could look at that as like a soccer player, or a football player, or any kind of, team defense sport, and know that it sucked. It was so bad.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't good. I mean, it's bad defense, and the Panthers are known for that. They're trying to outscore their problems, but also the Stars executed perfectly on all these chances that they had. So I think they maybe missed one other goal that they could have gotten this period. Other than that, flawless execution. Everyone did their job when they got those chances. So credit to the Stars. Obviously, those boobers were well-deserved at the end of the first period too, though.
So going into the second period, obviously Bobrovsky is out. They chase him from the net, and Spencer Knight is in. He's going to be you got to watch out for this kid. He's already getting paid pretty well for being a backup, but he's eventually going to take over that net from Sergei Bobrovsky, and he actually has been lately. So watch out for Spencer Knight. That's a side note of the night. No pun intended there. Oh my goodness. Anyways, there was a really good play by Hanley on a D stretch. Shots at this point, 5 minutes into the period, 15-12 for Florida. Dallas goes on the penalty to kill again. Seguin for a high sticking, and then Hagee gets the first goal for the Florida Panthers here. It was a wrist shot, from right above the right face-off dot. So it was just a great shot. There was no chance for Wedgwood there, and it's a power play goal. And the Florida Panthers go 1 for 3 on the power play at that point in the game. What did you think of that shot overall?
I mean, it was a good shot. Lots of traffic in front. Not much you can do. The penalty kill was not stellar tonight. Same with the power play. Me and James talked about that yesterday in the preview, how we're top notch on all of those. And the Panthers beat us there tonight. I mean, Panthers were 2 for 4 on the power play. We were 0 for 3 on the power play. So we didn't execute what we were supposed to do, but also we were kind of due for something like that. Our penalty kill has been too good recently. Our power play has been too good. So kind of comes to it there. But yeah, penalty kill needs to be better on that. Needs to contest that shot, get in the shot lane, but oh well. It's 1-4. At this time, we don't care.
Immediately after that goal is scored, actually, the Dallas Stars actually get their first power play of the game. Lomberg goes to the box for interference, and then they highlight Jamie Benn, 13 points in 7 games in November. So he continues to be on a fire streak. I'm going to continue saying that. Ben would have a shot during that power play. It was a really good chance, and he even kind of shot himself for that. He thought he should have had a better opportunity on that. And then Hintz, with about 9 minutes remaining in the second period, he would score off of a broken play. And Razor literally said, I had to quote it again because he's just fantastic, idiotic play on defense. So, he was just having at it at the Florida Panthers tonight. And Razor's not normally like that. So it was weird to see him going after the Florida Panthers as much as he was with the team defense. But what did you think of the goal by Mr. Hintz there?
That one was most egregious. I mean, it was a 2-on-1, and he just I'll just go get the puck. He can't pass. He just forgot what forward passing was. They thought we were back in the beginning of hockey. I mean, that was idiotic.
Right after that, before I get to that, Robo would get the assist on that goal, and he would continue his 10-game point streak as well. So that continues going through the season. Luostarinen with one of the greatest last names ever. I love the name, Luostarinen. He scores off the rush. It was a great pass by Sam Bennett, and it makes it 5-2 at this point in the game. What did you think off of that goal, off of that rush? Was that mostly Dallas defense, or was that just really good on the Florida Panthers there?
I thought it was really good on the Florida Panthers. I mean, it was a great pass by Bennett is what I remember, is just marveling at that pass. It was great.
Right after that, the Dallas Stars would go back on the power play. It's roughing on Cousins, and it's Kiviranta who draws the call, which he seems to do that a lot, to be honest with you. And maybe that's just because I notice him, but absolutely great job there. And then obviously the big storyline of the night happens, and Wedgwood gets hurt. He makes a heroic save on Lindell on a breakaway. And here comes Ottinger into the game. Obviously, our thoughts are with Wedgwood right now. It seems like he's okay. Obviously, he wasn't going to come back into the game, and I would assume that he's going to be placed on IR at the very least, because it was really quick. As soon as he awkwardly twisted like that, he immediately dropped his blocker and immediately went for his back. So that's never a good sign, because it wasn't even like a contacted injury.
That's initially what I was thinking, but they were talking about on the broadcast, I think it was in the third period, that he didn't actually even end up going to the hospital or anything. He just went back into the Stars locker room, and the stretcher was just for precautionary measure. So that's a very good sign, considering how scary it was at the time. I mean, seeing a big guy like that having to be stretchered off the ice is definitely just super scary. And the thing it always makes me think of is the Rich Peverley situation. So my mind just always goes straight to the worst thing anytime something like that happens. So, but from the sound of it, it's a lot better than we thought it was at the time. So that's a very encouraging sign. Hopefully he's not out for too long. And yeah, hopefully he's just okay. Really is the first thing, but it seems like he is.
He's just such a likable guy, it seems like. And what's awesome for him is that he's bounced around the league quite a bit, and he's had points in his career where it looks like that he was going to kind of get pushed to the wayside and not get noticed as an NHL goalie anymore. And he came out and he really shone with the Dallas Stars last season, enough to where they gave him a 2-year deal. Yes, it's for $1 million, but still a 2-year deal for a guy like that. That's a lot of stability for Scott Wedgwood. And I just hate to see that for him. And hopefully he's okay. Our thoughts are with him right now. And we'll talk about it here at the end as to what that could mean for the Stars going forward with the goaltending situation. But let's finish up the game here. Anyways, Chris, I thought that this was the biggest turning point in the game right there. That's when the Stars, everything just got. I mean, honestly, I felt like at that point it was just survive mode for the Dallas Stars.
Definitely.
And thankfully that the Florida Panthers didn't catch up on that quick enough, because if they had, I think we would have lost this game. So Dallas would have a shot that goes wide. They go on the penalty kill again. Hakanpää for cross-checking. It was a stupid call because the guy was already falling down. And
that's a cross-check.
It was a cross-check, but he was already falling down. It was a stupid call, in my opinion. And then Florida would get their second power play goal. It was Aaron Ekblad from the point shot. We were talking with James in our little group chat, and he honestly thought that it was just more unluckiness on the penalty kill tonight. Do you agree with him, or do you think that it was just a complete breakdown in that particular part of the special teams game for the Stars?
Not a complete breakdown. The second one is definitely pretty lucky. He just bounces off the guy in front of the net who is fully tied up. I mean, that's just fortunate. The first one, you definitely can get in a shot lane there. There's room for improvement on that one. Not sure on the second one. That is more lucky than anything, I think.
So going into the third period, shots are 31-21 for Florida about 5 minutes into the period. Dallas would actually get a power play. It was a tripping call on Ekblad, and it was a legit call. I know.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. They called it a legit call. Otter would make a really big save on a shorthanded chance for Florida during that power play. The Stars did not look very good in that third period at all. Florida would kill the penalty, and I put Florida looks a lot better. And I was really starting to get scared because I was afraid that was the injury that Wedgwood suffered was going to get to the Stars, and they weren't going to be able to be mentally tough enough to finish the game. Fortunately, they were able to. But just to finish off the game, there was a 2-on-1 for Dallas. Pavelski would have a shot. Marchment had a couple of chances. It was actually announced on the broadcast that Wedgwood did not go to the hospital, like you mentioned, Chris, during that third period. And that's when I was just like, okay, thank goodness he's actually okay. Mm-hmm. And then the scary part happens. 6 minutes remaining in the third period. Tkachuk scores. It was just a great pass, a great feed. Dallas was not paying attention. They got caught puck watching, and the score becomes 5-4. It's a 1-goal game at that point. What did you think, Chris?
Yeah, then I'm terrified. I'm not positive that Florida's going to win at that point, just because I think Dallas is a good team. They're smart enough to hold on to it, but we have bad history in 1-goal games. We have not won a 1-goal game yet this year. So when that goal goes in, very nervous.
And then after that, then we can talk about the incident. I got to pull it up because someone was already asking specifically you, Chris. It's Brandon Perkins. Hey, Brandon, it's good to see you again, man. I got a question for Chris. How trash is Tkachuk, and does he think the unsportsmanlike penalty against Marchment was BS? What do you think about that particular question, Christian?
I mean, of course, I think it's BS. It's absolute garbage. I mean, the Stars get a penalty. There's obvious penalty. Tkachuk karate chopped the stick out of Marchment's hand. There's no denying that. That's a penalty. Stars go on the power play. Basically, the game is over, is what it should be. So Tkachuk is pissed off because he thinks Marchment just let go of the stick. No, obviously not. So he skates in open ice, runs, jumps, and body checks into Marchment, who doesn't even fall down. So in response to being body checked after the whistle has been blown, several seconds before that, Marchment punches him in the face. And apparently that's enough to warrant him getting an unsportsmanlike conduct, but not Tkachuk. So they even out minor penalties, and they give him both fighting majors, which is, you know what Tkachuk is doing there. He's trying to draw a call the other way. You should not be allowed to body check Mason Marchment after the play and get no penalty for it, and then call a penalty on Marchment for responding to that. It's garbage. I mean, you're just going to let Tkachuk do that again is what's going to happen. It's going to set that precedent that, okay, do that every time then, because it worked this time, and they almost scored to tie up the game. So if they had tied up this game because of something like that, that would have been terrible. But I think overall this game was poorly officiated again. I think that's 2 games in a row. Kudos to the Stars for overcoming it, but man, that's a terrible call.
And again, this has been like a thing with the Dallas Stars this season. You and James talked about it just last night about the penalties that the Stars are taking, and the fact that we feel like, yes, we're a more aggressive team. Yes, we're probably going to take more penalties because of the system that we play under Pete DeBoer now. But a lot of them seem ticky-tacky. It seems stupid. It seems absolutely ridiculous. And a lot of the penalties, at least, and maybe I'm just being a biased Stars fan, and that's fair for people to say, but looking at it, it doesn't seem like it's fair. It doesn't seem like it's being called fairly to me in almost every single game I've seen. There have been so many stupid calls. Tonight, I wrote that 3 times. I wrote it 3 times. Wrote it for the Tkachuk incident. I wrote it for the Hakanpää cross-check. And then I wrote it for the Miro incident. And it was even freaking Razor who came out and said, that's a stupid call. That's a bad call. And I just don't know what it is that the refs have against the Stars, or if it's really that the Stars are that, I don't know. Are they really that much of a penalized team that they should be that way?
I'm honestly over the Stars the penalties that the Stars take. So they're an aggressive team. Sure. Penalize us more. Whatever. We're the second most penalized team in the league. Fine. Sure. We should also be drawing a lot of penalties with the style that we play. And we just aren't. I think James yesterday brought up the stat that we were in like the high 20s for amount of penalties drawn, which is terrible. I mean, you look at this team and the way the Stars play, that's not true. There's no other way to put it. That's just wrong. That should not be the case. They should be drawing a lot more penalties. They should probably be at least in the top 15 for calls that they draw. So that's what I'm more angry about, is that we don't get on the power play more. And with one of the best power plays in the league, that would be really helpful in a game against Tampa Bay when you had 2 for 2 and the other team over doubled you on power plays. So I'm still going to keep the mindset that later on in the season, this is going to even out and we're going to get some games where we get a lot more power plays than the other team. But so far, it hasn't happened. So we'll see. I'm hopeful.
So Dellandrea, finally, he gets rewarded at least a little bit with an empty net goal. I think that's his first of the year, correct? Second of the year. And he puts it out of reach for the Florida Panthers. And the only thing I could think of is thank goodness the Stars survived this, because I know Florida is sort of kind of underperforming what the expectations were, but they're still a good team. And they very well could have won this game tonight with the way the Stars lost heart. I mean, that's literally what happened when Wedgwood went down in the second period.
Yeah, and I talked a lot about Tuesday how we were happy with how the Stars played, but I kind of bagged them for not being able to win a close game again. The Stars find a way to pull this one out. I think it's their second win in a game that is 2 goals or less in the final score difference. So starting to learn how to win these close games. This game was learning how to hang on, and you're going to have to do that on some points. Some points you're just going to lose it. The other team's going to get all the momentum, and they hung on very well. The third period, only allowing 1 goal is honestly great for how much momentum the Panthers had. So very happy overall with that. Very happy with how the team played late when they were facing a lot of adversity. I mean, losing your goalie in a scary situation like that, that's a lot to overcome. And the Stars overcame it, found a way to get the 2 points and get out of Dodge. So, and also this whole road trip, finishing out with 5 of 6 points against 3 really good hockey teams. That's a fantastic road trip by the Stars right there to bounce back from what was not a great run.
Agreed. And especially that Tampa game, I thought the Stars played excellent. It was such a great game. It was so much fun to watch. It was just frustrating that they didn't get the win. But I couldn't be mad at them because they played so well. And I agree with you. 5 out of 6 points on a road trip like this, absolutely fantastic.
Every day.
All right, I got to ask a question because it's going to be really obvious. Brandon asking again, not to sound unsympathetic, but does this mean Hudobin or Murray come up, and which one should it be? Who should it be? It should be Dobby, because he's actually been playing really well lately. If Wedgwood is really that hurt, I want Hudobin up here. But it just the cap it doesn't work. So it's probably gonna be Murray for sure, according to Ardell. He's asking, right? And yeah, pretty much.
The problem is it can't happen. Even if Wedgwood doesn't go to the hospital, which makes me think he's not gonna go on IR for that long, or is hopeful at least. So he's probably not going on long-term IR, so it doesn't open up a roster spot. So definitely Murray's going to come up because Wedgwood's contract stays on. But even if Wedgwood does go on LTIR, only frees up $1 million, and Dobby is $3 million. So he still doesn't fit even with him going to LTIR. So I'd love to have Dobby on. There's no room for him. It's not possible this season. So he's going to be on the Texas Stars, or he's going to be traded. Is what's going to happen.
Well, at this point in the way that the season is going, I think it's important to have a third goaltender. And like if Ottinger or Wedgwood really get hurt, and especially Ottinger, if Ottinger gets hurt, then we have the room to bring up Dobby because he'll be on because Ottinger will be put on IR. So I really don't think he's going anywhere. Personally, that's just what I think. But we sort of kind of talked about what happened in tonight's game. The Stars got the 2 points. That's all that really matters. It was such a weird freaking game. Wedgwood is hopefully okay. It sounds like he's okay. I think I'm kind of like browsing Twitter as we're talking, but it sounds like he's walking around in the locker room.
That's what it sounded like from the reports that I was hearing, is that it was just very, very precautionary, and he was hurting really bad, but it wasn't a big issue. So just super painful, which obviously sucks, but he seems okay. That's great.
Is there anything else that we really need to talk about? I guess we could talk about this. Penalty kill really let us down tonight. They let in 2 goals. And then on the flip side of that, the power play was not very good tonight either. And I guess the first one was okay, but after the Wedgwood incident, when they got some power plays, it was not very good. What did you think of the special teams tonight?
I think power play had a lot to do with Heiskanen not having a great night tonight. I think Heiskanen was pretty bad. He got the penalty early on. First,
it wasn't a penalty. It was not a penalty.
He was still called on him. He finishes the night with a -1, which I don't love that stat, but in isolated situations, and it's confirming my opinion. So I'm going to use it when it confirms my opinion. So that's not great. And he just looked off. And I mean, he's on his offside tonight because of the line scrambling. I don't like that. And it just felt like he had a lot more turnovers than normal. And I don't know. I just felt like Heiskanen was not on tonight, and that has a big thing to do with the power play. And the penalty kill, the second one was a fluke. The first one were totally due. And same thing with the power play. They've both been so great recently that you felt like there had to be a game like this at some point, and it just kind of came tonight, and whatever. I'm sure it'll be back to the way it was next game.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get into our biggest winner and biggest loser here for tonight. Who do you think was the biggest winner and biggest loser tonight, Chris?
I'll get the obvious one to the birthday boy. Rope Hintz scores 2 nearly identical goals tonight, and was just fantastic all over the ice. Yeah, same spot, same shot, forehand into the top. So that was fantastic.
By the way, someone's making fun of us for saying cookie jar because only Razor says that because he's old. I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm
cookie
old.
Jar.
Okay, cookie
bar
jar.
Down.
Bar down. All right, we'll call it bar down too. All right. David, you happy?
No way. We are Stars fans that have been influenced by Desiree. Oh gosh.
Daryl Razor Ray. Chris has muted himself and he is no longer on the podcast. He has turned off his camera. While he sits in shame, I'll go ahead and give my biggest winner, biggest loser tonight. But biggest winner for me was Lundqvist, honestly. He had a really good goal, and I thought he was really fantastic tonight. Biggest loser tonight, I got to give it to Sergei Bobrovsky because he had some crazy stat, like he was 16-2-2 in his career against the Stars. And now lately he hasn't been as good, but still, I mean, 7 saves on 11 shots, that's really bad. So those are my biggest winner, biggest loser. Chris, who's your biggest loser tonight?
I'll be critical. I'm going to be critical tonight. My biggest loser, I'm giving it to the Heiskanen and Suter duo. Not very good overall. Got scored on quite a bit. Didn't like it. I think they were both on the ice with both the power play goals went in too. So I'll be critical. Those guys are supposed to be our best guys, and didn't feel like it tonight. Got to play better. That is very critical, though.
It is very critical. So, all right. I think we're good. Anything else tonight?
Nope. I didn't check when the next game was, so I'm going to keep on talking until I figure that out. Can't find it. Okay, so the Stars are playing again in 2 days. So we'll be back then.
So this next stretch, the Stars return home for 4 games, and 3 of the out of the next couple of games, they're going to be some pretty big contests. You've got the Islanders coming into town, and then the next 5 are against Central Division opponents. So that's going to be extremely, extremely important. 2 against Colorado, 1 against Winnipeg, 1 against Chicago, and 1 against St. Louis, who is looking better. They're still not great, but they're looking better. So I'm still not taking that for granted if I'm a Stars fan, to be totally honest. So we'll see how all of those games go. We'll, of course, be with you. Chris, you got anything else?
GG, boys. Let's finally beat up on the Central Division. Come on. The schedule's been so boring. I'm tired of playing the Eastern Conference. Let's play some rivals.
Right. Let's go. Anyways, go and check out sarcasticremarksshop.com for all the merch option from our podcast. I couldn't think of
what it was yesterday.
Yeah, you said like shop Sarcastic Remarks or something like that. Yeah. Sarcasticremarksshop.com. Super easy.
Super easy, boys.
And of course, leave us a 5-star review. We'd really appreciate it. Or leave us a review if you didn't like us, because we always want to get better at what we do. So, yeah. And as always,
I love being degraded.
Yeah, just like Tkachuk and to Marchman, right? Totally. And as always, guys, we appreciate y'all listening. Without y'all, we wouldn't be able to do this, and we're having so much fun doing it. So, along with Chris, my name is Ryan. We'll catch you guys on the flip side, and we will hope you guys will have a good, fantastic morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you guys are listening. Chris, say GG one more time.
GG one more time. GG, boys.
See you later, guys.